What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. As you can tell, I'm on a new camera. I just recently got one, so bear with me over the next few videos while I figure this thing out, because there's still some settings I gotta mess with. But today we're going to be finishing getting this together, the transmission as I said in the last video, and then getting it in the car, and hopefully getting it all done and running by the end of today's video. At least that's the plan. Alright, so we got a bit of a problem. Didn't realize that the alternator on this motor is different than the one on this one, which I already took off because I thought I would just be able to swap them because the intake manifold on here hit this little guy right here. And I didn't even think much of it, but when we went to put this one on, right here, which is the one off that motor, they're different. They don't look different, but I'm guessing the holes are in different spots because when I put it on this motor, they don't line up. And it's obviously not going to work if they don't line up. So we're actually looking right now if we have another alternator, which is different from both these ones, that will work on this motor. That way we can get the intake manifold on, which kind of swoops around and goes underneath right here. But like I said, yeah, I was hitting this little guy right here, and not, which was preventing it from going completely flat against the other part of the intake manifold. So we're going to see if we can find one, and hopefully we can get the alternator on and then the belt back up and on the motor. Alright, so 3 alternators later, we figured out that none of them are going to work the way we want, and easiest solution is going to be to take this water pump housing, is that what it's called? Water pump housing? Water pump housing off, and this oil line is going to stay because this is for an oil cooler, which that motor does not have. And I'm going to cap off this little fitting right here when it's on that motor, and then that one is going to come over here, and that'll allow me to use the alternator that was originally on this motor, and then the intake manifold should fit. Actually, sorry, it'll make me be able to use the alternator off that motor, and then the intake manifold will fit. So that's what we're gonna start to do, and I'll check back in with you guys if anything else happens. Alright guys, so this is where we're at. I ended up having to take the whole water pump housing off of this motor, and he's taking it off of that motor right now. So basically everything I did in the last video was kind of for a waste because the belt had to come back off, all the pulleys had to come back off, thermostat had to come back off. Definitely not what I had planned. I planned for the motor to be in today, and it's not looking like that because the sun is going down and it's getting later than anticipated. So we're gonna see what we can get done, and yeah, keep checking in with you guys. Alright, try to do this with one hand, but first things first is to see, oh gosh, if the alternator fits. Oh, that's a good sign. Last time it was hitting right here, and it wouldn't go any further than about like, it wouldn't go like that. It would stay like right here. So definitely a good sign that this mounts, or at least sits flush where it's gonna mount. So go ahead and get this mounted up, and then we'll see if the intake manifold fits. Because last time, like I said, it hit right here, but now it should clear. Fingers crossed anyways. So alright, I'll see you guys in a second. Alright guys, good news. The intake manifold is going to work. You can see it fits flush. It clears everything just barely, not by a lot, but it works. So obviously it's hitting the thermostat right here because that's not mounted up, but alternator's on, intake manifold's on now. So next step is going to be putting the belt on, then transmission, and like I said, then this motor is ready to be put in. Not going to be in today's video, unfortunately. I do apologize. Like I said, turned into way bigger of a mess than I thought, but tomorrow, or at least in the next video, we'll definitely be getting the motor in this car and everything hooked back up, fluids back in, and hopefully first start with its new stock motor. It's not going to be as fun of a car as it was, but unfortunately I never got to enjoy the fun because, like I said, I got it and it was blown. But next one will have just as much fun with this motor in it because it's a small little car, and from what I've heard, they are pretty fun to drive. So that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, I know it was a bit of a mess, That's not really my fault. I did not know that it was gonna turn into that big of a deal. I thought as soon as I switched over to the alternators it was gonna be good to go, but you know, can't ever really tell what you're gonna get into when you start trying to do motor swaps that you're not comfortable with. So make sure to like and subscribe, guys. I will see you in the next video. That's gonna do it. Peace.